This is our 4th Sunday morning coffee chat. Hope you have your coffee. Mine is super hot and super good right now. So, we are in our 4th week in our current challenge group. And so this video is on small sustainable changes. So, we have been doing this for 4 weeks, and you've probably noticed that you may have started slipping back into your previous bad habits. So that could be bad habits with your diet, that could be bad habits with your fitness. So I felt like this was a good week to discuss how making those small changes is really the best and most sustainable way to have a healthy lifestyle. So you've probably noticed that the newness of this routine, this challenge, has started to wear off a little bit. We're kind of getting into that home stretch and it's getting harder. You notice that it's probably getting harder to continue to make those good habits that you were really gung-ho about in week 1. And that is because even though you have this passion, when we started, that was really fueling your changes and giving you that passion to change your diet and get back into a better fitness routine, that passion is not enough, and it is not long lasting enough to give you the lifestyle that you're probably after and looking for. And so that is why I feel like small changes are what we need in order to make this a lifestyle. So I wanted to encourage you guys to reignite that passion that you had in week 1, to make the changes to be the person that you want to be. When you envision who you want to be and what would make your life happy, now I realize that weight loss, fitness, how your body looks is not true happiness. Now, does it aid in overall happiness? Absolutely. But the truth is, now that I'm thin and healthy, I still have some of the same internal issues that I had when I wasn't. So don't let that be your purpose for getting healthy, that like it's going to just completely change your life, because bottom line is it doesn't. You have to really work on the internal issues alongside. But that's actually not what this coffee chat's about. This is really just about the importance of making those small changes that are going to be lifelong and long lasting. So a lot of times when you start a new thing, or you are on this bandwagon of, okay, this time I'm going to get healthy, I'm going to change my diet, I'm going to get back into the best shape of my life, we start to list out, or we start to notice that we have a lot of bad habits. And not just habits in our eating and our fitness, but maybe we notice that we still have some bad habits in just normal life. So when I really started getting kind of control of my life and my fitness, my diet, and then really just making this a lifestyle, what I started with was I made a master list of all of my bad habits. Now that's not really a fun, it's really not a fun thing to see when your list is giant, but you have to face reality. At some point in your life, good morning Hobbs, you have to face reality at some point in your life. And it is never too late to start facing those realities, but you do have to face the reality, okay? So what I did is I listed out every bad habit I had. So every bad habit I had with my food. So my diet, whatever you want to call it. You know, my issues with sugar addiction, my issues with binge eating, my issues with no concept of portion control. You know, very little fruit and vegetables were part of my diet. I mean, I literally listed out everything. And then I also listed out issues with my physical fitness levels. And I would write out, you know, I mean, the lack of it. I would list out how many times, you know, I would try something and then I would just give up. And I mean, I literally listed every bad habit that I had. And this even extended into more lifestyle things. So I had this really bad habit of, when I would do laundry, I would wash it and I would dry it, and then I would just have mountains of clean clothes, and I would dig through my clean clothes to pick something to wear. And I mean, this was like a bad this was bad. Like, it would be weeks, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks before I'd actually ever get the laundry put away. So, I mean, I even listed out those kind of lifestyle bad habits that when I looked at the person that I wanted to be, when I looked at, when I envisioned who I felt like I should be, these were the things that were holding me back from achieving that person. And so I faced reality, and I looked at that list, and it was a little bit, it was challenging. You know, it was challenging to see all of these habits that I really needed to change. But by doing that, I was able to get the big picture and see that I really needed to do some work in my life. And so what I did at that point is I categorized those bad habits. So I categorized them by small habits that I could probably change within a week or two, and then I listed the bigger habits that would probably require a lot more time to change. So 3 to 4 weeks or more in order to change these lifelong bad habits. Things that were on like this, the easier things to change were things like never sticking to a fitness routine, or, you know, not drinking enough water. And then the bigger things were more things along the line of dealing with my sugar addiction, dealing with my binging, you know, those kind of bigger, substantial things. And then you had the stuff that was kind of in the middle. So what I started to do is I started with the easier things, because at that point when I was looking at this massive list of bad habits, I didn't really know where to start, and it was really overwhelming, and it was pretty discouraging to see this list. So I actually started with the things that were easiest. So I would give myself 1 to 2 weeks to work on one of those bad habits. And so I started with things like drinking more water. So I would make a calendar, and for 2 weeks I would really focus on just getting that water in. And I found that by focusing on one aspect of my bad habits, it really encouraged me to keep going, because I would see a change in a small area, and then in the next 2 weeks I would work on another one. Now, I didn't just let off of the new habit I had created. I would kind of just add to it. And sometimes as I went along on this pattern of making these small changes, I realized, okay, I kind of need a refresher, I need a review. So I would kind of maybe take a week or two, and I would really focus on maybe 4 or 5 things that I had kind of already mastered, but maybe I noticed were slipping a little bit. And I would take 2 or 3 weeks to kind of refresh those habits, just to make sure that this was a true, legit, life-changing thing that I was doing. So some people, when you're making these small changes, some people would prefer to start with the biggest, most prevalent, most difficult area that they see in their life. And that's okay. If that's your personality, where getting the biggest thing out of the way is the most motivating, then start there. But realize you need to give yourself time to conquer those big, bad habits. And that might mean that, say you're dealing with some sugar addiction and you're really wanting to detox from sugar, that might take 4 weeks or more to really solidify that change in your lifestyle. Others may find, like me, starting with the smaller things, the more easy things, kind of gives you that momentum of, hey, I can do this. I can actually change, and I'm not stuck in this bad habits. I can be somebody completely different when I focus on it and when I work towards it. So it's kind of in choosing where to start and making these small changes, it's really up to you and how you work best and how you function best and how your personality is. But you do have to start somewhere, because in order to make your diet, your nutrition, your fitness, in order to make that a lifestyle, you do have to get rid of the bad habits that have been your stumbling blocks for probably years and years and years, and you do need to replace them with healthy habits and better habits. Another thing that helps when making small changes in your lifestyle is having an accountability partner or having an accountability group. So by having somebody that you talk to regularly, whether it be face to face or in a Facebook group or social media somehow, by having somebody that is there that you can reach out to when you're struggling, it really is going to help motivate you to stick to those small changes that will ultimately lead to long-lasting changes in your life. But it's really important to have that, because if you're having a bad day and you're struggling, or somebody posts something or somebody says something to you, you may really need to hear that in that moment. And the other thing is, you can be encouraging other people too. And that's something that we really want to do, and I would love to see more in this world, is where we're building each other up and we are encouraging each other and motivating each other to be the best person that we can be. I had read a quote a while ago. I don't know who wrote it or who said it, but it said, be the person that you needed in your darkest moments. And I think back to when I was in my darkest moments in health and fitness and everything. And the person that I needed was somebody who could be real and who could say, hey, you know what? I failed over and over and over, but I didn't give up. I kept going. And even if it was just that one small change, once or twice a week that you started adding new things, I tried to change everything all at once, and it never worked, because you cannot long-term sustain 10 changes. It just isn't going to work. 10 is a small number. I just picked a number. I had way more than 10 issues to change, okay? But I needed somebody to come alongside me and say, you do not have to change everything at once. You need to show up and you need to make adjustments as you go along. And that is why I feel like this topic of small sustainable changes is very important in your overall health and fitness goals. I needed somebody to come alongside me and say, you can do this. Just start where you are. Start where you currently are in your life and just get started. And when you fail, because you're going to, get back up and don't quit. The person I am today, and I know this is, our group is really about diet, fitness, everything like that. When I used to imagine who I could be and what my body could look like, and having that willpower that I felt like I just never had, other people seem to have it, and I just couldn't find out how to get control of my eating and stay consistent with a fitness routine. You know, when I look back at who I used to be, this person who I currently am, even though I still have flaws, I never thought I could be her. And I have a feeling there's probably some of you out there that are just very discouraged with your weight, with your current fitness routine, and I want to be that person that comes alongside you and says, you can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. I'm nothing special. I mean, of course I'm special, but I am nothing special. I am nothing that is unachievable. I am just a normal human who messes up, who has to get back up, who has to retry and retry and retry. But you can do this. And I hope that I can be that person for you that shows you that this is just a lifestyle that, you know, anybody can achieve. You start where you are, you make that list, you make that goal, you have that dream of who you want to be, and you start achieving it. One small change at a time. So, I feel like I could keep talking about this. Out of everything we've talked about thus far, small changes are what you're going to need in order to make this a current lifestyle. So, go out there, have a wonderful day. Maybe this week take some time and make a master list of the things that you would love to see changed in your life, and start. Pick one thing, give yourself 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks to make that change until you go to the next one. You're never going to regret working on yourself and becoming the person that you really want to become. So, until next time, good morning. you.